K-pop is the devil? So today we have a video by somebody that I don't know, but apparently it's a person who's a K-pop idol talking about why it's not worth it to become a K-pop idol. I mean, I love K-pop, so hold on. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know that. Y'all know the vibes. Yeah. Yes, you're looking at a grown heterosexual man wearing a K-pop shirt. Yep. Yes, you are. So without further ado, shout out to my Koreans, by the way. 안녕, zu리입니다. 미국 사람입니다. 안녕하십니까.
Most people shouldn't become K-pop idols, and most people that want to become idols actually shouldn't become idols, or that they actually don't want to become idols, at least not in the traditional sense of being a K-pop idol or the way that it is these days. And hold on now, let me explain it to you. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Zena. I am a self-managed K-pop idol in Korea. I am a foreign K-pop idol actually.
Oh, okay.
I prefer the term K-pop artist because I definitely don't follow the...
Hey, Zena. I might have to check out some of her stuff. Self-managed K-pop idol. It's basically like a indie soloist. Like an indie soloist. Y'all know, let's let the girl talk, Zuri Malik. Okay, Zena and Zuri Malik. You know what I'm saying? Duo of the century. Let's get it.
Structure, and I'm definitely not as famous as a typical idol is. And I actually used to be in a K-pop company, and I left the company after realizing that it wasn't ethical, and there's a lot of problems. And I found that the same thing happened across other K-pop companies, and that it was basically going to be impossible for me to be able to get the type of experience of being an artist that I wanted to get in this industry with the way that it is. So I decided to open my own music label. On my YouTube channel, I document the journey of opening my own music label as well.
Okay, she opened her own label as a soloist in South Korea, and she ain't even that big. It's not like she's a BB. It's not like she's one of these top solo, you know what I'm saying? What y'all girls be doing? I am doing some very sus shit in this video right now. It's probably it's probably hard. It's hard for some of y'all to think like, yeah, he got a little bit of sugar in his tank, yeah.
About K-pop culture analysis, specifically focusing on the area of dance. I actually own a dance company which helps people learn how to dance. It doesn't teach choreography classes, not dance classes, but I actually coach people and train people about how to improve their existing dance skills across all levels, all dance styles, and all goals of dance. And I actually taught myself, I self-trained myself for an entire year. That took me from looking like this to looking like this. And I taught this all myself. I never went to any dance classes, so by the time that I was scouted by a K-pop company, I didn't even need any more dance training. Sorry about the bell going off. Insightful or interested in becoming a K-pop idol in the different sense, feel free to like this video and to subscribe. Comment down below if you also have the dreams and aspirations of becoming an idol. I literally moved me and my family across the world to pursue my goal. And
not her family. Her family would have got a girl to get idol. Hey, that's family ties right there.
It was a crazy decision, but I decided to go about it in my own way. I also own another company here in Korea, which is a startup. I don't necessarily talk about that much on this channel. I'll talk about it in the future. But if you're interested in learning how to become a much better dancer, then please check out the link in the description below. I have a free gift for you to help you know about which routines you should implement, where you should exactly start to become a better dancer, and what videos and YouTube channels you can check out in order to learn choreography to help you practice your dance skills. Now let's get into the video. Just so you know, I'm doing more of these yap session style videos because my typical videos that have done really well, and I'm very grateful that they're appreciated by a large audience, they take me forever to edit. They take me hours to edit, and I'm not willing to hire someone because these videos are more personal to me, and I don't think it's possible for me to outsource my editing right now. So I'm going to also be posting more yap session style videos that talk more about my insights and opinions, not necessarily full of all the typical editing that I normally do. So please, I hope you enjoy this. If not, feel free to watch my other videos. But I'm going to talk about something that I actually find quite important and I'm really passionate about today. The idea is that I believe most people should not become K-pop idols. I think that most people that want to become idols definitely don't actually want to be idols. That's not what they truly want, and being an idol is like the general term that masks what they actually seek. And so I think that there's a couple of things. Do not become a K-pop idol, number one, if you value your freedom. This is one thing. Do not become a K-pop idol if you value your freedom, because I would say that in multiple ways, K-pop takes away your sense of freedom. It takes away your artistic freedom. It takes away your musical freedom. It takes away your freedom to even to date anyone you want to date. It takes away your freedom to have a personal life. And I know that there are people that say, well, yeah, I know that. Going into the journey of pursuing being an idol, they say,
you know, a lot of things of what she said is something that I learned after I became a fan, and I was just like, man, that's almost like these people aren't, I mean, they're not people, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I guess that's how they can become such phenomenal. If you look at like the average K-pop idol, I'm not trying to glaze, because I'm a fan of the industry, but I mean, they really are talented, but I mean, it's like you almost have no choice but to be that talented if you basically dedicate your life essentially to that.
You know that I'm fine with not dating. I grew up in a strict household. I get it, but I think most people don't actually really get it until they actually experience it themselves.
Exactly.
I often see K-pop idols as princesses trapped in a tower. They were promised something at a young age. They wanted to be a big singer. They just wanted to be an idol. They wanted to be on stage without even realizing the gravity of the contracts that they signed that are often limiting to their personal freedom as well as their musical freedom. And I would say that's why that's kind of like you shouldn't become a K-pop idol if you actually value musical freedom. Like if you actually legitimately love music. Let's say you play an instrument, you're passionate about making music, you're passionate about the arrangement of music, music theory, you love just the art of making music, producing music, and yet you still want to be an artist. I would say, hold on a minute, hear me out. Because maybe a K-pop idol is not the best title for you. Maybe it is not the best way for you to pursue your dream. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But definitely because most people do not understand that the exceptions for idols and artists that make their own music are really exceptions. If we talk about groups like Cordis that make their own music, they literally self-produce their music and even show how they produce their music on live stream. And even groups like BTS have produced their own music, made their own music. Stray Kids is a really good example of a group that also was able to make their own music. It's not normal though. It's not the general situation about how most K-pop idol groups become famous. And especially if you think of more niche groups like X-Love is a good example, they are not managed in the same typical way that most K-pop groups are managed, because a lot of people think, oh, it's an indication that K-pop companies are changing when K-pop groups like X-Love are more famous these days. People think that's an indication that companies are changing. But that actually isn't necessarily the case. It doesn't mean that K-pop companies are changing. It can also indicate more that the audience is changing and being brave and more willing to post their music or to form groups that are a little bit non-traditional. Because, I say this in fact because the K-pop group X-Love was not originally founded by a company on its own. Woomuti, who's the producer and the leader of the group, actually was friends with the owner of the company called J Park Entertainment. It was JC or JP something Entertainment. It's now named as 257 Entertainment, and Woomuti was actually friends with the owner of the company. So they were able to make a group. Woomuti had an idea, basically.
Basically, it was who you know. Just like how it is on here, you know, it's who you know in the entertainment industry. I mean, that's just how it goes. A lot of people be like, man, you know, all these talented people, hell, you might even be talented yourself watching this video, and it's just like, I can't catch a break in the entertainment industry. I just can't do it. It's who you know, man. Your talent doesn't always matter that much, as bad as that sounds. It's just how it is.
and said, you know, I want to make a group. He would go on and choose and scout his members for that group.
That's badass.
He scouted partially from Boys Planet, and he did all of this.
Hey, shout out to Boys Planet.
Producing himself. It was a self-production, and in that way, he was able to choose his own concept. He was working with a company where he's close friends with, and in fact, they weren't. It was only until recently that they were bought out, or I don't know if you would say bought out, but a company came in and also manages X-Love as well. I would say that in this type of situation, it's very unique. Being or having a close relationship with someone who owns an entertainment company is definitely a unique situation that gives you more freedom over the type of concept that you choose. But I would say don't mistake this for thinking that means in the K-pop industry, companies, I guess, are changing. Doesn't mean that the big companies are changing. So playing it safe and choosing a concept that is guaranteed to be successful and not necessarily unique and not necessarily musically creative will always be the more successful one in the eyes of a big K-pop company. And even that's why most people talk about, you know, why are these groups even popular if so many K-pop fans don't even like this type of music? We keep commenting on videos saying that we want something different. And most of the time, K-pop companies are not going to listen. The bottom line for companies...
It's just like... That is just like Hollywood. Hollywood really messed up a lot when it comes to movies, bro. Like, I gotta make a video about that too. I gotta make a lot of videos.
At the end of the day, they're gonna make music that is more guaranteed that big brands such as Samyang or big noodle brands like Ramyeon Noodles are going to invest in K-pop groups and want to do advertisements with them. Advertisements that will be advertised to the Korean general public. So let's say most Korean public don't even listen to K-pop. So the ads need to be palatable enough for the audience. So that comes back to, is the K-pop concept acceptable enough so that when people see them and they're on the screen, that people won't hate the ad, hate the company just because the concept is unique or different. You have to understand, these are still corporate employees just wearing very nice stylish clothes, hairstyles, and doing a bit of singing and dancing. But at the end of the day, a lot of what K-pop has become is looking for models who can be trained to sing and dance. Models that have a K-pop look are also more accepted.
Wow. Models who can be trained to sing and dance. Wow. Wow.
When talking about most of the time that in K-pop auditions, from what I've experienced and from what you can see in the industry, it's not always important that you can actually really sing or dance that well, because in the eyes of a K-pop company, that can always be trained, especially from a young age. So the bottom line is that when you look beautiful, you look good, K-pop companies are more than likely going to choose you. And I've had my experience like this in the past where I did a lot of auditions. Even the company I was previously in, they said, you know, your singing and your dancing is more than enough. Like, you are amazing. Like, we don't really have any notes for that section. But they always told me, you need to lose more weight. By the way, at the time, I was not even overweight. They wanted me to go from 49 kilograms to 45 kilograms. And the was that, yeah, you look good, but your visuals are not enough because you do not weigh like the ideal weight for a K-pop idol or for a model. And I'm like, yeah, but I truly care about music and artistry and dancing. I'm so into that side. And as a businesswoman myself, of course, it's also important to make money, but I was not willing to sacrifice those types of things to become successful.
She wasn't willing to sell her soul. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. When you want to become a K-pop idol, most people that think, oh yeah, I know it's difficult, but when you actually experience what it's like to be told to go on a water diet, which is just drinking water, eating ice cubes, and when you're told that that is more important than your artistry and then you're more important than your skills, yeah, it makes you question whether or not you're really meant for this, because it's not necessarily about good singing or good dancing all the time. Maybe you know that already because you've seen a lot of idols that if they were to compete as a singer or a dancer globally in the United States or wherever, they would not be successful because sometimes a pretty face is not enough. If you genuinely love music and value your freedom as an artist, you value your freedom over protecting your personal life, over not having people worry about whether or not you are dating. I feel like this is a very obvious one, but you definitely shouldn't be a K-pop idol in the traditional sense or in one of the big companies. You like independence. If you're the type of person that even as a kid, you grew up really fast, you've taken care of your siblings, maybe even you don't like when people are always checking in on you, you like to get your full 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep, you like these things, then being in a K-pop company is not for you either, because trust me, your sleep comes last. Most of these times when they're filming on performance shows, music bank, a lot of times the filming...
Yeah, if you're like a mega fan or you're just like in love with a certain idol or a certain group, you understand that like every last single... Let me tell y'all, every last single idol that I've seen on like the behind the scenes to filming a MV or to a music show or to whatever, they're always talking about, yeah, I'm tired. And it's almost like you feel sorry for them to some extent, because it's like, damn, I mean, you can honestly see the tiredness in them. Like it's just radiating through the screen.
And if you're the type of person that needs their sleep, that's not going to be for you, because the schedule is always going to be fully packed with promotions, especially during the comeback era. If you're someone who burns out easily, if you're someone who has even things like neurodivergence or things that you're really tired easily.
Hey, get in here. Paul? No, Paul? No? Why you giving me the bombastic side eye? You're giving me the bombastic side eye with the eye boogers.
For you either. If you struggle with your health, you have certain health issues, I definitely think being a K-pop idol will only make you further neglect your health issues. And I'm saying that from like the truest, most caring part of my heart, because I've had many situations where I had to prioritize being an idol over my health. And it got to the point that I worked myself into deficiencies, I wasn't healthy anymore, and I just felt like I basically was even lucky to wake up in the morning, because during the day I felt like a zombie. And what I mean by this is actually that if you are any of these things, don't give up your dream of being an idol, but stop auditioning mindlessly. Stop auditioning just because you want to audition for a big company, because first of all, you might actually get into the company is the first thing, and the second thing is, what are you going to do when you actually get in that company and you realize how difficult it is and how almost like it goes against human nature to do certain things, like working on a schedule that you don't even get any sleep. You can't even have a personal life. You're not allowed to eat even nutritious things. You might not even be allowed to eat at all. And doing things like this goes against the very act of being a human. But if you're someone who's okay with that, which I think most people are not, and most people downplay the effects of that, and becoming an idol is not something that is meant for most people. And in fact, I would almost go as far to say that most people shouldn't become idols. With the way that the industry currently is, it needs to change. I would say if you're interested in becoming a K-pop idol and you feel like you're a person who values your independence, you feel like you're someone that needs to have a personal life, you feel like someone who values artistry and music, you actually want to make like really good music that comes from your heart and your soul, try becoming an independent artist. Make your music already. Do not rely on a K-pop company to make you famous, because I think that's the number one mistake. People go into K-pop companies thinking that it's actually the easier solution or the easy way out, easy way to become famous, easy way to become an idol. But in the long term, is it really? Because you're being put in a contract that is almost like modern day, like, if you know what I mean. And I know I can't say that word on YouTube, but it kind of...
You can't say that word on YouTube?
It reminds me of the situation where there was a K-pop idol who was in a group, but all of the members' individual contracts actually were from other agencies, so they had like a mother agency which employed them, and then those idols went to become a group. And that means that you're bringing contracts from different companies together. And one of the idols became so popular, in the group context of course, that his mother company sold his contract from a Korean agency to a Chinese agency. So he woke up one day and was told that he has to go to China for an event.
Oh my!
He would not be able to come back to the group. And in fact, since his contract was sold, he had to relocate. He was sold to another country. You understand how crazy that is? And I feel like we make a lot of excuses because we're like, that's just how K-pop is. It shouldn't be that way. It's messed up.
Are you like legally? Like, do you have to do that? Like, will he be like arrested and have to? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that something he has to do? Like, is that under contract? Like, I never heard of that. I never heard of that before. That's crazy. That's crazy. I man, I would crash out on it, man. Oh my god.
I know that there's going to be a lot of people saying that, yeah, but that's just how K-pop is. That's just how it's always been, and we shouldn't expect K-pop to be ethical. But I'm just like, why do we have to continue that? In a society where, especially in Korea, it makes a lot of sense about the analogy that I'll make. I asked one of my friends, for example, in Korea, I don't see a lot of people wearing dresses. He said, oh yeah, people in Korea, they don't really wear dresses in the summer. Like, it doesn't make sense, it's really hot. So like, people don't wear sundresses or anything like that. And he said, well, think of it
like this. You know how we feel about the sundress. Them sundresses, we are sundress connoisseurs.
It's because no one else is wearing dresses. No one else is doing it. So why would they do it?
What?
And it makes sense. In a collectivist society, like especially in East Asia, where the individual is placed below the group as a whole. What's the group? Way of Boys, I think. Challenging the traditional K-pop norms. You have to understand how much of a change, how much that sends ripples throughout the K-pop industry. While it might not send ripples to those big companies and to companies themselves, it places more change in the hands of idols that want to step up and create their own groups, or idols that want to start their own labels, or fans that are looking for groups that are a bit different. And while these big K-pop companies and conglomerates and these ones with huge amounts of shareholders might not ever change, I think that it's important then to shift your focus from wanting to be in a really large company that goes against your very core values and beliefs to looking at pursuing your own dream as an individual artist.
Pretty much over here in the West, how being a person who signed under contract to a label is dying out tremendously. I mean, we look at these labels, they're scrambling just to find, I mean, they're finding like, hell, I mean, they're not even really finding a lot of people no more. Most of them are using like crazy amounts of AI artists, bro. And we already see like literally 99% of people who know that it's even an AI artist they're listening to just refuse to listen to that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's going to eventually fail. It's going to eventually fail for them. So I mean, really, they don't understand. Like, I mean, look, this when creative people get a chance to own their own thing that they make and to do what they love, to know that their money doesn't have to get funneled down before it gets to them from the stuff that they make. That's in all the entertainment business now. You know, even with me, with what I'm trying to do with movies, I'm making my own movies. Literally from scratch. Everything is coming through me. Everybody that helps me work on my films is coming through me. I think this is just like a whole entire movement that a lot of the entertainment industry is going through right now, where the independent creator is the one that's about to be placed on top. But it has to be the independent creator that lasts the longest. If you can go through the storm, if you can bear the storm, and you can go through being not good for a while, because starting out solo dolo, that shit is hard. Okay, that shit is beyond dumb. You know what I mean? But if you can last outlast everybody else that's trying to do it, or you can at least come with something fresh, something new, you gonna be good in the long run, bro. As you can see, the video has about 7 minutes left. I'm gonna stop it right there though. Shout out to her. You know what? We're gonna like this right here. Yeah, Zena. You know it. Shout out to her, man. That was a really introspective video. I've never seen a video like that about an actual idol talking like this about, you know, the industry. I do have my own opinions that I feel a lot of fans probably also think, at least a lot of Western fans have, about K-pop. So that's a video that I'll make sometime in the future. I'm glad I didn't find K-pop until I was a grown man though, because if I was a kid, I definitely would have been one of those kids that wanted to pretty much do what she did. Would have worked out? I don't know. Could I be in BTS right now? My name in BTS probably would have been Zaire.